Fourmaier, insieme ai due giganti di ghiaccio, Tenerife e Volkmeister. Volca Formeister. Exactly, ok. Tenerife è già arrivato al suo riposo, Volca è appena arrivato e ora proviamo a chiedere loro come è andata questa cavalcata. 450 kilometers, you are really iced giant here in Italy. Tenerife, how was your race? And how do you feel having a full capability just arriving and see you? How was you when you arrived here?
I think for starters, I'm very happy to be at the finish. That's as anyone would be in this position. Um, it was brutally tough, and I think that's just the spirit of Tour de Glaciers. You feel the empathy with your fellow runners as well. Everyone's going through the same emotions, and that's basically how you build and bond friendships with this race as well.
Volker, how do you feel just arrived?
Well, Tian said it very well. That even though everyone has its own very unique race, you bond with other runners because it is somehow a very similar feeling. Everyone has gone through some hardship at some point in this race. That is out of question. Everyone has to dig deep and
Kind of war with ourselves, right? With himself. What was the hardest part of the race?
I wouldn't say war. It is more of a challenge. War sounds so militant. The hardest part for me is actually I have enormous pain in my feet, and just keeping up the pace and walking with the pain always hammering in my head for days now. That was very tiring.
For you?
Yeah, I probably would echo the same. And it gets even worse where sometimes one injury supersedes the other, and you kind of is the injuries challenging each other to see who's going to be up top, and then you have a calf strain, and then after a few days, then it suddenly becomes like your feet is absolutely hammered, or yeah, it's just relentless.
What pushed you to decide to come again and do the Tour de Glacier? The third time.
Oh, that's a very, very good question. I mean, I've asked myself that actually numerous times during the race. Why am I doing this to myself again? um, but yeah, I mean, look at us. We seem to be, either a bunch of donkeys knocking our head against the wall and just doing the same thing over and over again, or I just simply can't explain this one, I'm afraid.
For you, what pushed you here?
I want to be faster than him.
So this is like the challenge for next year, I guess.
I guess so. Depends if he's here next year or who else is here. Right?
That's true. There's always someone out there who's willing to pick up
Yeah.
the Flagstaff, and yeah, again, this is again one of the reasons why it attracts everyone to be a part of it. It's just the one year where you feel like, oh, I'm not there, then you have that fear of missing out in a way.
How do you prepare to make space during the year? How do you work to come here?
That is actually a funny question because I'm living in the flatlands of Germany. The highest hill that I can train on is 80 meters. So I do a lot of hill repeats. I do a lot of stuff in the gym, like the incline treadmill, the stairmaster. I do a lot of strength training. Biking is obviously a very large part of my training, and then I travel to the mountains as often as possible.
For you also your land isn't that high, right?
I think for me, I start off by getting an apology from my better half to say I'm going to have to take some time off for training, and then the second part is to get my leave approved, and then yeah, as you said, then is to find the terrain and location to actually train for something as crazy as this, right? I mean, there's nobody out there that can really. I mean, just the sheer distance alone, it's not something you just can kind of do on a weekly basis. So it comes back down to the normal, that almost like that 80-20 rule of, it's very much a mental game compared to a physical game, because physicality is just going to get you, a couple of hours there, and then the rest is all going to be in your mind.
Well, I'd say it's 100% of both, because I mean, if you're not fit, you wouldn't run the time you have, and if your mind would not be there, you wouldn't do it anyways.
Yeah, no, true.
So-
Yeah.
So we continue to make you questions for all day long. I start here. We will see you next year again. Hope so. This new competition. You are really